Hello, Ducks fans. Welcome to another episode of the Quack Report. My name is Carter, and I'm joined by Nate, as always, except for last week, where I couldn't say as always, but now I can say as always. Maybe I should say as usual. As usual, I'm joined by Nate.
There
There
you
we
go.
go.
I think out of the 4 years, I've only missed, 2 episodes?
2, maybe 3?
Maybe 3.
Maybe, yeah. It hasn't been a ton,
Yeah.
so yeah. I've been pretty consistent. It's been good.
I'm committed. I'm committed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've suffered through this team for 4 years. That's how you know my commitment level.
Yeah.
Want anybody questioning that shit.
Yeah, and you came back, too. So.
And I came back. Yeah, I could have just said, fuck it,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Christian and Griffin did a great job filling in for you. We talked for a good 40-ish, 45 minutes about the Avs, and they convinced, I'm sure, a lot of Ducks fans to cheer for the Avs in the playoffs. And yeah,
not me. They didn't convince me.
No. Yeah, they did get a "Let's go Avs" out of me, but it's not like I'm cheering for the Avs in the playoffs.
I was gonna say, you said "Let's go Avs," and that's the team that knocked out the Oilers last year. Oh
yeah. I mean, just from a hockey perspective and from a Ducks perspective, the Avs are a good team to watch because Cogliano, Manson, former Ducks
fair
player.
enough.
And then they're just a lot of fun. Like McKinnon's good, Rantanen's good, and then ideally we get a rematch of the Oilers and the Avs in the conference finals. That would be super exciting for me, anyways. So
yeah, you could have pretty much a total rewrite of last year's playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers, right? Beat the LA Kings in the first round, beat the Calgary Flames in the second round. Oh, wait. Yeah. That's a different show for me, I guess. Then lose to the Avs in the third round. Yeah, you could almost do a complete rerun.
Yeah. And at worst, if they do beat the Avs, then you just get a 2006 rerun.
Because Carolina's going to be in the final, you think?
Well, potentially. They're in the playoffs, so.
It is true. Yeah.
They got a 1 in 8 chance of making the finals. I'm not very good at statistics, but no, there's no way.
What does Money Puck have their chances at?
Honestly, I think they had the second or third best odds like a couple weeks ago when I looked. They had like something like a 10%. Oh no, it was 10 or 11% chance to win the cup. I don't know what it would have been to make the cup finals. But
Carolina to win the cup is a 10.2% chance according to Money Puck, and a 20.4 to make the finals, which is fourth in the NHL playoff odds for Money Puck.
Okay, so essentially they're guaranteed to make it past the first round, and then after that they have a 1 in 4 chance to make the cup finals.
Yeah, right. Their make the second round is 65.8, and then their third round is 41.8. It's just a massive drop off.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
mind you, though, it is for everybody, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I guess they're not in the same division as Boston, but yeah. So.
Yeah, Colorado and Edmonton have the top 2 chances of winning the cup, as well as making the finals, obviously. Okay. Edmonton at 22.7%, Colorado at 22.2%.
To win the cup?
To make the finals.
Oh, to make the finals, 22. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I was like 22% to win the cup seems like a lot. Like,
yeah,
should I be putting money down here? Like,
yeah. Edmonton at the highest for the cup win, like I said, at 13.1.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Poor Toronto fans at 8.1 there to win the cup. But oh man, 59.9% to make the second round. It's got Tampa at 40.1% to make the second. Toronto's got to do it, man. Toronto's got to do it.
Yeah.
And I think I'll make the proclamation here. That's whose bandwagon I'm hopping on for these playoffs is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You're jumping on their bandwagon.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, Canadian team. So
yeah, I was debating between them and the Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Normally for bandwagon in the playoffs, I'll hop on an Eastern team because I can't.
You got too much of a rivalry with the Western teams.
Yeah. So I'll go for the East, but yeah, you know what? I'm gonna join the suffering and go with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I'll take down the jersey here. I'll have it to wear. I might meet up with our buddy Shane. He's also he's Flames and Leafs. So he's ready to go for the Leafs kind of thing. So maybe I'll go join him just to watch some more hockey.
Nice.
Just to feel a part of something, because both my teams are done.
Yeah.
Don't even get the playoffs. Fuck that.
Yeah. Huh.
Maybe that's just the world's way of trying to make up for that I didn't get to go golfing last year. Just hey, both your teams are out. Just go golf now. Go golf now in April.
No excuse now. No excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
my shoulder's not fucked up. Your teams aren't in the playoffs. Just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, I mean, we got a pretty good episode coming up here. We've got the final game of the season to talk about, and the final game of the Freeway Face-Off for this season. We've got some official draft lottery talk to talk about.
It's not hypothetical.
It's not
hypothetical anymore.
No, it's very real. But we'll get there. We have a couple. Well, really one other piece of news that we're not going to say what it is,
but we all know what it is.
We all know what it is, though. We're all here. Everybody knows. Everybody, come on. If you don't know, then you're going to find out. But this
would have been the episode that would have been great to be live, specifically if Laura's in the chat.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I did see that she posted a video like it's finally happened. Yes, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I did see that it's up. Like pretty much immediately too. So she's had that one ready to go for a while.
Ready to go. Yeah.
We're also going to recap the season for the Ducks specifically by going through some roster stats. We're going to revisit way back our way too early season predictions from back in when was that, October? That we did that?
September, October.
Yeah, I think it was early October. I think we might have done it like the day that the season started.
Yeah, or maybe, I guess
or very close to,
or like put them out kind of thing.
Data training rules. Oh no, we did do it. Yeah, just before. So yeah. Anyways, we've got we got that to go through, and oh boy, there's definitely some way too early predictions in there for sure.
That's the fun of them.
Yeah. We're also going to recap the Gulls season. I kind of touched on it on Wednesday after the Avs guys left, but there is a couple more games, so we do have kind of like the final record and the final stats now. So it won't be too long, but we'll hit that, put that in there as well. And then also we have not just one, not two, but 3 BDE moves coming for you in this episode.
It's a lot of BDEs.
It is.
A gangbang of BDEs.
And with that, we know that we're done. You can't put that out on YouTube. We're fired. Thank you guys very much for listening.
Okay, so on Friday, my stepmom had messaged me because she came across the clip from Wednesday's live episode, and just had a screen cap of the clip and just asked, "Are you still in this group?" I said, I just missed that episode. After that comment, though, I might be fired. I don't know. We'll see after. Tune in next time to see if I'm actually still here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Also, I wanted to bring this up, and then we can actually get started.
Can I get fired when I have 50% stake?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, probably not. Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to bring this up.
Right here. I noticed
I got a new. There. It's not gonna be a permanent background decoration, but I gotta scare it, or not scare it. I gotta share it with the world. And for those of you not watching, imagine an avocado, but with a cat face and ears. It even has a tail as well. So it's an avocado, like a CAT.
Avocado.
Avocado. Yeah.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about it, actually.
Yeah. I just had to show it off. Like, the world needs to know that this exists. So, yeah.
Now you're just making me want guacamole, man.
Sorry.
I'm running on like 2 pepperoni sticks right now, and we're getting started at like 2:30.
Yeah.
In the afternoon. So
that's fair. Yeah.
I am a little hungry.
Yeah. They you remember the Duck Nana?
The Duck Nana? No,
yeah.
I don't remember that.
No? You didn't see the Duck Nana?
What's the Duck Nana? How many times can we say Duck Nana at the start of this before we eventually get to talking about the Kings and Ducks game? Stay tuned to find out.
Good Nana, question.
Duck Nana, yeah. Duck Nana.
Hold up. I just got to open. Where is it? Open link? No. Open image in new tab. That's what I want.
There we go.
Oh,
What was a duck nana?
I can't believe you didn't see the duck Nana.
Like, is it like a nana duck? Like, is that what it is?
Here, I'll show
Or
you. Oh, oh, that is way bigger than it needed to be. Hold up.
I just see a duck face here. What?
Oh God, how do I zoom out? There we go.
What's going on? I'm so
It's a
confused.
duck Nana. It's a banana with,
Oh, there
duck
we go.
feet,
What
peels,
the
and a duck.
fuck?
Yeah, a duck Nana.
Okay, remember a couple episodes ago we had shown the AI generated image of Wild Wing riding a dinosaur, but like
Mm-hmm.
Wild Wing and the dinosaur had the same head, right?
Yeah.
Like it
Oh
was like
yeah.
two bodies. Like this
Yeah.
reminds me of something that like AI would create.
Yeah. Right. But no, this is 100% real. It was sold in London Drugs in Western Canada. Same with, and that's where
Jesus
the
Christ.
avocado came from too.
Is this your picture? Like, did you come across this?
No, no. This was on Twitter, but I did
Oh,
see
okay.
it. I did see it in the flesh at our local London Drugs, and it's like a garden decoration. It's like made out of like a plastic kind of thing. Yeah, and
I
that's what
hate
the
it.
avocado is too.
I hate it, but I need it at the same time.
Yeah, right. That's how I felt about it too. But it
What the
was
fuck is
they
that?
only had like big versions of it, so it was expensive. Whereas the avocado, it was $20, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna let $20 stand between me and eternal happiness. They did have a $70, 2.5, 3 foot tall one. I
Yeah.
drew the line there, but yeah.
Oh man, no, you should have gone all out. Should have gone all out and just like
Ah,
had it in the
yeah.
corner back there.
That
Just
would be
constantly
good.
holding its head up.
It would be good. Yeah.
All
But
right.
anyways, yeah,
Duck
just had to
Nana.
share that with the world. So
All right.
if you're just
All right.
listening, just Google avocado. So AVO CAT O in Google
All right.
and experience it for yourself.
Do it.
Okay. Now, on to another experience, which is Ducks hockey in 2023. Everybody. Yeah. This was definitely an experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into it. I mean,
Can this team pay for my therapy?
they're going to have a pretty hefty bill if they're paying for everybody's therapy.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they're ducks. They got enough bills to go around. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Ducks and Kings. Yep. Kings win this one 5-3. The Ducks finish the season losing 13 straight games. Only 2 points
impressive.
in those games as well. It is impressive. I love the fact that, like when was that? Like February, March, they went like on a point streak. And we were all like, what
Was
the
it
fuck are
5
you
games?
guys? Yeah, 5 or no, I thought it was like 7 or 8.
Maybe. Could have been. Yeah.
But we're all like, guys, the fuck are you doing? You're messing up your odds. And we should have known better.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It should have been like, oh, we're gonna mess up the odds for a little bit, and then don't worry, we'll make sure we're back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So,
but
yeah, they did that. And I mean, in this 13-game losing streak, they did get 2 points in overtime losses to Arizona and Colorado.
Back to back as well.
Back to back. Yeah. So, not 13 straight regulation losses, just 13 straight losses.
Yeah. Kings sweep the freeway faceoff for the first time ever that the freeway faceoff has had a sweep since it began in 1993.
Damn.
And you know what? Like, how deep into this game do you really want to get?
I mean, what more is there to say? Like, we were abysmal in the second period.
We saw
We took
81
too many
games of this
penalties
before.
and
yeah.
Like, there was nothing new here to talk about.
Okay, I will make one comment on the penalties really quickly. We don't have to stick on it too long because we know that the refs have fucking sucked this year throughout.
Yeah,
and I can't wait to see how they make it even worse during the NHL playoffs.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
However, though, the Ducks ending the season with 8 power plays given to the LA Kings. 2 of them were from the bench, right? In terms of a delay of game for challenging that goal, which as soon as you watch the replay, you're like, no, that is a goal. Like, who signed off on challenging this? And the other one was, just too many men. But then there were a couple in there that were just like, what the fuck are we doing here, kind of thing. That
Yeah.
in the third period, I think the Ducks did take exception to, and they're like, fine, you know what? If you're gonna hand out penalties, we're gonna make sure that we fucking deserve them.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that was one time where I was like, okay, you know what? Fine, go for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really the only thing I think
Yeah.
worth talking
I
about.
mean,
But
yeah, like Kings were 2 for 8 on the power play in that game, so 75% penalty kill. Like, it's not great, but like, I mean, when you're taking 8 penalties, like if you're only giving up 2, like that's decent, I
it could
guess.
be a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is higher than our season average. We were below 75 for the season, were we not?
I am taking a look right now. We were at 72.1%.
Okay, so yeah, there we go. We bumped up that average a little bit in the
Yeah,
last game of the season. So
there you go.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this game. Like, yeah, there is positives, and like Terry looked good, Gibson looked good, but
Yeah.
it's kind of all for naught at this point, and we've pumped those guys' tires all season long. So
Yeah, exactly. And this was a game that, everyone's it was such a weird thing for Ducks fans this season that hopefully we don't really need to we don't want to be experiencing this again, in the
yeah.
sense of like you're a fan of a team, you cheer for them to win,
Mm-hmm.
but this was the case where you're a fan of a team and you're cheering for them to lose, right? Just
Yeah.
especially in those last couple of games with how tight everything was for that last spot for the best chance at Connor Bedard. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a really weird thought process, I think, for not just us, but Ducks fans around the world.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Just with what was potentially at stake there. So
Yeah, no, definitely.
but yeah, I guess if there's nothing else to talk about, I'm going to use it as a bit of a segue.
Go for it.
That we were cheering for the Ducks to lose this game, and they did. My favorite thing was the LA Kings on Twitter putting out a video not long after that game had finished, showing where they were in the standings, and then showing that you had to scroll quite a ways to find the Anaheim Ducks there.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite thing about that is that, yes, the Anaheim Ducks finish 32nd in the league. That sucks, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
dead last. However, though, the Kings winning that game solidified that the Ducks were getting 32nd spot, also solidifying that they had the best chance at 25.5% for the first overall pick, which we are looking at Mr. Connor Bedard.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, so we still have a month or a little less than a month before the draft lottery, before we know our actual positioning in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
If the Ducks get that first pick, imagine being the team, you're like, yeah, we beat you guys. Like, we beat our rivals. We swept them. Just for that to result, or to be a large part of a result, I guess, with how tight everything was at the end, of your rival getting a generational talent that is looking to cave your skull in for the next 10 years.
10, 15 probably. Yeah, at least, yeah.
Take your
If not
W
20,
now,
yeah.
LA, because if Anaheim does get Bedard,
it may be one of the last, or it'll at least be very hard to come by a W.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's yeah. I really hope so, just so that just so we can rub it in Kings fans' faces just a little bit more.
So, because for whatever reason, Kings fans are just always in Anaheim Duck mentions.
Yeah.
Even if they're not playing them, they're just there.
Rent free, baby. Just living rent free there.
You have anything else going on in your life? It's LA. There's a lot going on. Go do something. Go do something else.
Go outside. Touch grass, literally. You could do it any time of year.
Yeah, so the Ducks finishing the season 23, 47, and 12, 58 points on the season, which is just an ouch. Yeah. But like I said, the positive
it is better than I thought we would be doing, considering how long it took to get a regulation win for this team.
Yeah,
58 points is a lot higher than I thought we would finish with at that point.
We were looking at the records for regulation wins and just wins overall for a large chunk of the season here. So
yeah.
But like I said, there's a positive that does come with it. we have the best chance of the first overall pick for the upcoming draft, 25.5%. And just so everybody else has an understanding here as well, Columbus would have the second best odds at the first overall pick at 13.5%. Chicago at 11.5%. We were laughing off air as well that the Chicago Blackhawks beating the Pittsburgh Penguins, taking the Penguins out of the playoffs, but also taking the Blackhawks out of, or severely hindering their chance at the first overall pick there, because otherwise Chicago could have had that last place spot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Anaheim can only draft
Pick
as
is
low as third overall, which
Mhm.
is fantastic. We're looking at a great player joining our roster coming up here in the next year or two.
Yeah.
At most, I would say, with
Mhm.
what is available here at the draft table. So
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And just to let everybody know as well, the NHL Draft Lottery will be held on May 8th, 7 p.m. Pacific on ESPN and Sportsnet if you're in Canada, to truly determine the Ducks draft position, which could very well be celebration night.
Yeah. Oh,
So.
yes, for sure. Yeah, one thing that I've misunderstood the last few years, because this is the way it used to be, but I guess this changed in 2020. So I've probably been spewing a little bit of misinformation out there every time we've brought up the draft. So I just want to clarify it.
At least you're doing it by accident.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So previously they would do a draft lottery for the top 3 picks. So they would draft, or they would do the lottery for the first position, and then that team would be taken out, and then they would do another lottery for the second pick, take that team out as well, and then do a lottery for the third. And then I guess in 2021, 2022, and also this year, they're only doing the top 2 picks, which is why the Ducks can only finish as low as third, because say Montreal and Arizona could get the top 2, but then after that it's just reverse standings order. So that's how that works. So if I said at any point in the season the Ducks can finish, or if they finish last, then top 4 is the best they can get, I was wrong. It's top 3 is the best. So top 3 pick is the best they can do. And then also new this year is you can't go any higher than, or move up more than 10 spots. So really the top 11 have a chance at the first overall pick.
Yeah, which for anybody curious, Anaheim, Columbus, Chicago, obviously, San Jose, Montreal, Arizona, Philadelphia, Washington, Detroit, St. Louis, and Vancouver.
Which that doesn't mean that the other teams, Ottawa, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Nashville, and Calgary, are out of it. It's just if they win it, they only move up those 10 spots. They don't. So then Anaheim is unaffected in that top spot.
Yeah, so they can't. They can't get Bedard. They are out of that. If any of those teams get picked, according to Tankathon here, where did that go? Yeah, so if a team in the 12 to 16 range wins the first drawing, which is the first overall pick, the first pick will remain with the worst team, in this case being Anaheim. So and same with the second one as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So so really, even though the Ducks have an 18.5% odd or chance of winning it themselves, of their lottery balls coming up and saying Anaheim gets the first overall pick for sure. Really, an Ottawa, a Buffalo, a Pittsburgh, a Calgary, and a Nashville lottery win is also an Anaheim first overall pick win. So that's where the 18.5% to 25.5% moves, because those bottom 5 teams combined have a 5% chance, or sorry, a 7% chance, which then bumps the Anaheim odds up. So that's where that's coming. So if you see 25.5% chance and you're like, well, the guys on the Quack report said 18.5, that's where that's coming from. So and the reason why is you can't move up more than 10 spots. So yeah,
we're so close to all of this potentially being worth it. And I get the feeling that, if you get first, obviously fantastic.
Yeah.
Second is still good. Second is still good,
Mhm.
but it's just going to be another backhand like the 2005 draft
Oh yeah.
with Sidney Crosby up for grabs.
Mhm.
And again, we got Bobby Ryan. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But to have two generational talents be there, available for us to take, and the lottery screw us out of it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too happy about that personally.
Yeah. Did the Ducks have like finish lowest in the standings that year, or what happened? Or was it back then they only just did reverse standings?
I think they had to implement the lottery because of the lockout that year, right?
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember exactly how that worked out,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that would yeah, that would suck to finish that badly and like have that bad of a season and just not get Bedard. But
Yeah.
I'm confident. I'm optimistic that we can do it.
We have luck on our side in the
And
sense,
math.
well, and yeah, luck, math, and history on our side. As I'm going to move us to the next point here with a very nice segue.
Perfect. I love it.
When the last generational talent, you could argue, Mr. Connor McDavid, who Carter is quite familiar with. Carter, who was the head coach for a good chunk of that season for the Edmonton Oilers before McDavid was drafted?
Dallas Eakins?
Correct.
Does that sound familiar
Correct.
to anybody?
So we got some history here that Dallas Eakins can lead teams to the promised land of generational talents.
Yeah, we've got Lottery Ball Hall, and we've got. I don't know. There isn't anything that I think would rhyme with Dallas Eakins there, but Lottery Ball Eakins.
Reekins with Eakins? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, Taylor Hall seems to bring first overall picks around generally wherever he goes. Dallas Eakins,
except for Boston, he brings first
Boston,
overall in the standings.
Yeah, first overall something, anyways. Yeah, and then I mean, yes, Dallas Eakins has only had 2 NHL coaching positions, but I mean, when the first one ends in just everybody wanting you out, and then eventually you get out after just the worst season ever, you get Connor McDavid. The Oilers didn't finish last in the standings that year like the Ducks did, but
that was third last, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah. I think so. And then, it's just interesting that there's a little bit of a mirror there with, okay, you get fired and like this next generational talent player is right there for the taking. So
if Columbus doesn't get the first overall pick, they now have a coaching vacancy. Do they hire Dallas Eakins?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends if there's like, I don't know. We would have to write to the hockey gods and do like some sort of probably blood sacrifice to figure out how exactly this whole process works. But I don't know if there's like a minimum amount of time where you have to keep Dallas Eakins around before you get that generational talent. And also I don't know if there's a generational talent type player coming up next year or in a couple of years. But
yeah.
So we'll have to see. But I think Dallas Eakins has a coaching position eventually.
Yeah.
Just for that.
Yeah. If you are a little bit out of the loop and you're going, what do you mean Dallas Eakins for a coaching position in Columbus next year? That's because the Ducks will not renew the contract with Dallas Eakins. As much as we joke about it, we've done it, people. We have managed to get through this season, especially with Dallas, right? On his 1 year, not extension, but like the optional extra year on his contract. We've gotten through it. And something I realized actually was not only was Dallas Eakins hired during the 2019 offseason to head coach the Anaheim Ducks, we were hired in the offseason of 2019 to cover the Anaheim Ducks. We have officially lasted longer than a head coach under this in this franchise.
Yep.
So we can give ourselves a pat on the back there that we've stuck around this long.
Yeah.
Because
there you go.
honestly, we're a lot easier to fire than Dallas Eakins was, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like obviously we're sad to see him go. But I mean, the results that for this season, we already talked about, like, we are going to have that first, or we're going to have a good player coming with this draft.
Yeah.
So like we do kind of have him to thank for that, I guess. So like,
In a way, yeah.
yeah.
I don't think there's any word though on any of the other assistants.
No, actually, in Pat Verbeek's presser that is on Ducks stream, I know you said you had a busier weekend, so
Yeah.
you've been kind of behind on stuff, but he did, but the assistant coaches are around, and actually, this might have been on 32 Thoughts. I listened to them both like back to back, so the information I'm like mixing up where it came from, but it's accurate nonetheless. The assistants are still around, and when a coach comes in, he doesn't want to get rid of the assistant coaches yet, Pat Verbeek, because like they might, the coach might say like, oh no, I want to like have these guys around because they know what's going on in the team, so like they'll be good to help out. But some coaches aren't like that. Some coaches want to come in and be like, nope, clean in house, I'm bringing in my own guys, I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, kind of thing. So so right now they're still around, but that's not a guarantee, I guess, that they will still be here next season.
Yeah, exactly. So Dallas went 100, 147, and 44 across 4 seasons with the Ducks, with no playoff appearances. If you're looking strictly at wins losses, that's 100 and 191.
Yikes.
It's been rough times for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And again, we have covered this team for that entire time.
Yep.
How are we surviving?
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
But with that announcement, though, there were some quotes from various levels of the Ducks organization here. We'll start with Henry Samueli, who said, "We thank Dallas for his 8 years with the organization as head coach of both the Ducks and the Gulls. Susan and I are especially proud of his commitment to the community in both Anaheim and San Diego, which included countless charitable initiatives. We know Dallas will succeed in his future endeavors, and as character people often do." Pat Verbeek was also quoted as saying, "This was a very difficult decision, one that comes after careful and considerable deliberation." Side note, probably after 10 games this season.
Probably.
Yeah. Continued here. At the end of the day, I simply feel that a fresh perspective and new voice will be beneficial for the team. Dallas has handled himself with class and character through a difficult season, and we wish him the best in the future. And then Dallas Eakins himself put out a statement on his Twitter account. Saying, "I will be forever grateful for my 8 years in the Ducks organization. From jumpstarting San Diego to dealing with COVID to a full-on rebuild was an inspiring and rewarding challenge. Every staff member and player made me a better coach, but more importantly, a better person. The enthusiasm and patience of the fans will never be forgotten. Thank you to Bob Murray and Pat Verbeek for giving me a chance. I will always be in your debt. Thank you to Henry, Susan, and Jillian Samueli for the inspiration. Your leadership makes the Ducks organization an incredible place to work. You remind us all that community and others come first. But most of all, thank you to my 3 wonderful ladies at home with support, or who support me like no other. I look forward to for our next great adventure. Hashtag Go Ducks. Hashtag Win Today. Hashtag DFM." Which I don't know what that last one exactly is.
DFM. Ducks fan money. Yeah, I don't know.
He has DFM as a hashtag in his bio as well. Not sure what that means, actually. That might have to be some I take a look at.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, please let us know as well.
Yeah. Is there a, like, if you click on the hashtag, does it like make it obvious, or?
Let's see here.
Because I'm curious now. I want to know.
DFM. I'm not sure. I do kind of wonder if it's one of the charitable things that he did.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure offhand. So if anybody has a clear answer, please let us know
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Enlighten us. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, no, I think really good statements. Like he obviously, I think, knew it was kind of coming and was um,
Yeah.
was okay with it at the same time. And yeah, I mean, he has done a lot of good things for the organization in terms of like development in San Diego and even developing some guys at the NHL. We definitely question some of his decisions, like with Zegras and McTavish. But you know, in the end, like they did earn their spots. I think he did have a hand in making them better players at
Mhm.
the NHL level. Even guys like say Drysdale or some of our other young defensemen, I think he's done good with them at the NHL level. It's kind of really only been forwards at the NHL level that we've had the question marks. That like
Yeah.
defensemen, he seems to be like, oh yeah, just we'll pair you with Fowler and just go out there and you know we'll give you 20 minutes right off the bat. And it's like okay, sick. And
Yeah. You're gonna learn kind of thing. So
yeah. So yeah, in those ways, I think that has been very beneficial for the players that we have, um, and have brought in the young ones at least over the last few years. So
yeah.
can't argue with that.
Yeah, and I do see him getting another AHL job if he wants
Oh
it.
yeah.
With the Gulls specifically, he had a 154, 95, and 23 record and 3 appearances in the Calder Cup playoffs in 4 seasons there. And if you're looking at his overall time in the AHL, he was the coach of the Toronto Marlies from 2009 to 2013 as well there. Oh, excuse me. And so he's had 584 AHL games coached between San Diego and Toronto, having a record of 311, 209, and 64 with 5 appearances in the playoffs. San Diego advanced in 2019 to the Western Conference Finals, and the 2011-2012 Marlies, he took them to the Calder Cup Finals in 2012. So this is a guy that can definitely do it in the AHL. And yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he got another coaching position in that league. So
yeah, no, for sure. I would have to agree with you there. So yeah. We actually did have we as we've said here, sometimes jokingly, sometimes not. We do actually, you know Dallas Eakins. We get to talk to him from occasion. So we do have an exclusive soundbite here that
oh no, what he
from
got?
him. So here, just have a listen here.
Mommy, it's over.
Oh my god. I haven't heard that in forever.
Right?
Holy shit.
Obviously,
that's good.
Obviously, for those listening, not exclusive audio from Dallas Eakins.
God, that took me back for a second there. Holy shit.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I just thought of it this afternoon, and then I was like, this would work for Dallas Eakins, I think. Yeah.
Damn, that was good.
Yeah. And I guess for those that don't know, because I think it's just a Canadian thing on CBC.
Like just for laughs?
Yeah.
Well, it is like an international comedy festival, but it's based out of Montreal. So
yeah.
But yeah, they might only televise it in Canada. But,
maybe. Yeah. But yeah, there's like a comedy, like a stand-up comedy show called Just for Laughs that aired on CBC, which is like the Canadian broadcast channel or something, or corporation. It's their channel anyways, where they show all like the public stuff. And they also had like a Just for Laughs gags, which was like a prank show, but like it was like hidden cameras but not hidden microphones, so like they always just had like music going over it, and it was just like dumb shit that like I don't even know how to describe it, but you know,
it wasn't like the like making people look bad or anything like that, like you see on TikTok now or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was more jokes that, you know, like once it kind of just confused people more than anything, like the person that was being pranked. So it wasn't anything malicious or anything like that. So there were some good ones on there.
Yeah. There like I don't know why, but like one that comes to mind is like there would be a mom or like someone playing like acting as a mom being like, hey, I just gotta like, you know, run and do this thing, like can you watch my baby in the stroller? And then the person would be like, okay, yeah, sure. And then like the there would be like an RC. They had like an RC, like a stroller RC car, and then someone would like drive it away, like
Drive the car
down
away,
the
yeah.
sidewalk, yeah, and then they had like baby noises coming from. Obviously, there wasn't a real baby in there, and then people would be like losing their mind, and then the person would like come back and be like, "Where's the stroller?" They'd be like, "It just like ran away," and then yeah, it was.
And then somebody would come out like, "Oh, hey,
It was like, no,
we
no,
got
we're
you on
just
camera."
messing with you. Yeah, so
You're all good.
yeah, so
There was
yeah,
one
it-
Yeah,
it
there was one
good,
I
though.
remember that was like, "Hey, can you like watch my dog or something like that?" And then they had a speaker by the dog that would just like give raunchy fart noises.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like the
when-
person
yeah.
would come back and kind of like, "Oh my god, like it's like that you or something like
Yeah.
that." Yeah,
Yeah, so like just to mess with them, make them a little uncomfortable, and then be like,
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you. We're all good. So,
oh.
but yeah, that was from like the ending of that show. That's where that sound bite
Yeah.
came from. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to just I guess a little bit more news on the head coaching front. This was from Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts, just kind of speculating on potential moves for the organization in terms of coaching moving forwards. So Elliot Friedman said Matt McIlvaine was a potential candidate for a coaching job, specifically starting with the San Diego Gulls, and then in a few years potentially moving up to be with the big club. For those that have never heard the name before, like me, until literally like a day ago, Matt McIlvaine is he's born in the U.S., but he is coaching over in Austria. He's been the head coach of EC Salzburg for the last 4 years. Before that, an assistant coach with ECH München of the DEL, the German league. And then he's also coached or been an assistant with with Team Germany in 2021 for the World Championship. So he's an overseas guy. But he's young at 37 years old, relatively for a coach anyways. And not that 37 is old, like if you're just like not a coach either, but definitely young for a coach in the NHL, but obviously very young anyways. So that name was just kind of thrown out. I thought it was interesting, especially for like a Gulls coach. But obviously, we've talked about Bruce Boudreau for the head coach. So
yeah. So, and speaking of the Gulls as well, taking that vacancy, there is a vacancy now, because the Gulls head coach Roy Sommer has announced his retirement. He did that just before the last game against the Colorado Eagles on Saturday. So that's why there's a vacancy there. So no AHL coach got fired. Just to clarify that. So, but as well for Summer, we wish him the best as well, and I guess to wrap it up as well, like for Eakins as well, like we wish both these guys the best, and Summer, I guess, enjoy retirement, and Eakins will find a new job soon. So
yep, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I guess looking at the time, let's take a quick break now before getting into oh shoot, I missed one thing with this the coaching thing as well. Like he didn't technically get fired per se, but it was announced like very quickly, like the next day after the loss to LA here. So I mean, presumably he kind of found out like, at the end of that game, if not before, maybe, that he was getting let go. But just getting rid of him right off the bat, as soon as the season is over, for Pat Verbeek, that is a big energy move.
And not leaving Ducks fans to like squirm of like, is he coming back again?
Yeah, exactly.
Is this gonna go not the way we think? So
yeah, exactly. Just ripping the Band-Aid off. So
yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now we can move on, take a break with our friends over at DraftKings. Promo code THPN, and we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes to just recap the season.
It's NBA playoff time. That means big hoops action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Get in on the excitement of every game with a touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pre-game moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. So, what are you waiting for? Download the app now and sign up with the code THPN. New customers can make a $5 pre-game moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Again, that's promo code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to go through the Ducks season recap, and then we'll kind of go through, I guess, full NHL season recap, revisiting our way too early season predictions for when we predicted the divisions. But yeah, we're going to start with the Ducks, and we'll go through, I guess, first off, goals, assists, and points for the roster.
Want to do just top 3 guys? Or do you want to go top 5?
I think for these stats, we could go top 5.
Okay.
Just to kind of see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I realized too, we didn't actually do our 3/4 season mark, like after like the 60-ish game mark, because we did one at 20, one at 41. Halfway. And then
I think there was something,
at least I was planning on
yeah,
squeezing it in for 60, and then we just like missed it. So
yeah.
So here we are.
Okay, top 5 for Ducks goal scorers. Mason McTavish at number 5 with 17 goals. Adam Henrique and Frank Vetrano actually both tied for 3rd spot at 22 apiece. Troy Terry at 23 goals, and tied with him actually for first place is also Trevor Zegras at 23 goals. So the scoring did get spread out a little bit more again, but when you take into consideration as well, Terry missed 12 games of the season. Henrique missed 20 of those. It does make a bit more sense, and I feel like those guys would have been higher on the list, right? And kind of been like the guys if they hadn't been hurt or that kind of thing. Whatever caused them to miss games, I guess. So, but to see the steps as well for Zegras, for McTavish as well, 17 goals is nothing to scoff at.
Oh yeah, in your first full season, like hell yeah,
your player. So is all looking good, and those guys especially will just continue to improve next season, I think. So
yeah, no, for sure. And obviously, like, injuries are bound to happen, just because you brought up Terry and Henry there, but having the depth on the team to like fill those holes is a big part to like team success. So like it's not just like, okay, we need these guys to be fully healthy 82 games out of the year for this team to be successful, and they need to consistently put up goals and get like 30 or 40. Like once we have a little bit deeper of a team, then the pressure will be more so taken off of those guys, I think. So it's, so kind of looking at that there. But yeah, no, like given how many games these guys had and just the team around them, like this, yeah. I mean, not just for goals, but assists and points too. Like it's they did pretty well, all things considered. So
yeah. All right, moving on to assists there. Tied for 4th spot is Ryan Strome and Mason McTavish, both with 26 assists. Cam Fowler and Troy Terry tied for 2nd at 38. So you can see there's the bit of the leap there.
And I do like that we have a defenseman in there as well with Fowler.
Yeah,
so
that's true. And then Trevor Zegras leading the pack at 42 assists on the season there. And then moving on to points, because we kind of got the totals now. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have a two-way tie for 5th spot at the newcomers, Frank Vetrano and Ryan Strome, both at 41 points on the season.
Decent.
Mason McTavish in 4th spot at 43 points. Pretty damn good for your first full season in the NHL.
I'd say so.
And then 3rd spot, you got Cam Fowler at 48 points over 82 games. A full season for Fowler as well, which was very beneficial on the back end. And considering the amount of time that he played was just ridiculous overall. Troy Terry in 2nd spot on points with 61, and again 61 in 70 games, right? Like if he was able to play a full season, would be even higher. And then leading the pack is our good boy, Mr. Trevor Zegras at 65 points over 81 games there. So it was in terms of points, like, yeah, you want more, but considering the guys that are in there, right? You got 2 new faces. You got a brand new rookie. You got another guy that's still coming into his own in Zegras, right? And Terry missed time. Fowler set a new career high for points as well, I think, with 48 there. Overall, I think in terms of the point production, I'm actually not that upset about it. To be honest
definitely not.
Like considering what this team was this year.
Yeah, and like we've said, like offense hasn't been the issue. It's been keeping the puck out of your net generally, and even just not playing in your own zone for however long they've been doing it. Like when we had zone time and we had offensive pressure, we could score. That wasn't the problem. It was getting into the zone, sustaining pressure that was the issue, as opposed to keeping it out of your zone. So I do as well just want to say about Cam Fowler. 48 points, and some people might say, oh yeah, but he played on the power play because John Klingberg, sucked ass for us there.
But he wasn't normally a power play guy before that.
Yeah, exactly. So but yeah, like he also didn't really have a ton of his points on the power play. Like he only had 14 on the power play, 4 goals and 10 assists. Because remember, our power play was dog shit this year. Like he, at even strength, he had 6 goals and 28 assists. So 34 of his 48 points. So at 5-on-5, or I guess technically 4-on-4. So yeah, like he still put up like really, really good numbers at even strength as a top pairing defenseman, where he had to play tough minutes against tough competition with not a lot of help. So I think that 48 is going to be looked at like by a lot of people, especially outside of the Ducks organization. Not that they're really going to be caring about Cam Fowler and his points, I guess, but I just think that 48 doesn't like speak to the kind of season that Cam Fowler actually had for this team. Like it's given all of like the whole situation and everything, and like quality of competition, the non-existence of John Klingberg, both at even strength and on the power play, like, and Cam Fowler just having to step up and basically kind of do it all. He's had a really solid season. So
yeah, I agree with everything that you just said there. So
all
right, do we want to take a look at penalty minutes? We want to look at that fun stat.
Normally it's not one that you can really care about, because it's like, okay, Nick Delorier, Sam Carrick, they're going to have a lot because they fought a lot. But this season in particular, I think it deserves a little bit of a conversation. Yeah.
All right, so 5th in penalty minutes on the team. And so when we're saying like 5th to 1st, so 1st is the most penalty minutes.
Yeah.
Just to clarify that before we get into this. So Max Comtois with 76 minutes on the season. There was at least one misconduct in there. He started throwing the fists around a little bit at one point in the season there as well, when Carrick was out. I'm trying to remember like when it was. So like December area, I think.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And then Max Jones there has 1 more minute at 77. Ryan Strome is 2 ahead there at 79 for 3rd spot. And then
really,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess he did take a lot of penalties now that you think about it. Like not just like like your normal penalties, like tripping, hooking, slashing. Just because I think he's a very aggressive player, I think that's just kind of how he plays. But he did have a couple scuffles and misconducts in there as well. So
Sam Carrick, second in the team, back-to-back years as well, by the way, with 86 penalty minutes, which again, that makes sense. When he's the guy that's the guy to throw punches and whatnot, and
especially late in the game, even though you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. And then leading the pack is our good boy Trevor Zegras with 88 penalty minutes on the season.
That is too much.
That is something you need to bring down, and he knows it, right? We've already talked about that before, but he did, I think, get a couple added on as well in that last game against the Kings, right? Where he gets shoved into, or he's attempted to be shoved into an open door by Delorier. Or no, sorry, not Delorier. Oh my God, why am I? Philip Deneau. There you go. In the third period there, and at the end of it, Zegras is the one who gets two in a misconduct.
Yeah.
Out of that whole thing, which it just baffles me. Again, I can't wait to see how much the refs fuck it up in these playoffs here.
Oh, it's gonna be awful.
Zegras was just taking so many penalties this year for stupid shit. It felt like, and I guess when I say stupid shit, it's like the avoidable stuff, right? Like a trip or like a hold or that kind of thing. So, if any non,
he also had some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties as well. Like he had too many of those.
Yeah. And you're gonna have, if there's any non-Ducks fans listening to this, they're gonna go kind of roll their eyes of like, oh no, he's totally being biased here, right? But like Zegras isn't a dirty player, I would say. He just did a lot that resulted in penalties, if that makes sense, right? Like those trips and that sort of thing, right? He's not getting a shit ton of roughings for sucker punching guys and stuff like that, and whatever fights or anything like that, right? He's not slew footing anybody. It's just he's just piling on the things that you can work on alleviating from yourself.
Like we've talked about it, he toes the line. I don't want to say well, but like he definitely toes the line, right? Of like what you can and can't do and what's going to get you a penalty and what's not. And I think this season was really just a big part of him figuring out, okay, this is what I can't do.
Yeah.
And right. Like I think now he kind of knows like, okay, I definitely can't do this stuff. I would be curious to actually go back and look at Brad Marchand's penalty minute history and see if he had like a similar, like huge spike in penalty minutes in like his second or third year or something like that.
Or I guess even to bring it back to the Ducks of Corey Perry.
Yeah, exactly. That too, right? Just to see like, okay, like, yeah, I'm coming into the league. I'm not just going to come and start like, stirring the pot like, oh, I'm the shit. Like nobody can penalize me kind of thing. But, after, playing 100 or so games, they like start to feel like they can get away with a little bit more, but maybe sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then eventually the refs, I don't want to say catch on, or they push it too far across the line, maybe. So I don't know. I think maybe that's what happened with Zegras, is he just went too far and now he's slowly trying to bring it back. But because he kind of has that reputation of going too far now, he's getting penalized for things that maybe other people wouldn't by the refs. So I don't know. That's kind of what I see. And then I think next season we might see it. Hopefully it comes back down. So
you actually weren't far off now that I'm taking a look at it.
Really?
So let's go through. So Zegras' first, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go season by season. We're going to go through the first 3 years of Trevor Zegras and Brad Marchand.
Okay.
All right. So the first season for Trevor Zegras the first season that's listed, he plays 24 games.
Yeah.
Picks up 13 points and has 12 penalty minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Marchand plays 20 games for the Boston Bruins in 2009-2010, picks up 1 point with 20 penalty minutes.
Okay.
So the penalty minutes are a little bit higher, and the point difference is kind of what's there.
Yeah.
Then we head into year number 2, the first attempt at a full season, I guess. Excuse me. Zegers plays 75 games, picks up 61 points and 50 penalty minutes. Brad Marchand plays in 77 games, picks up 41 points and 51 penalty minutes.
Okay.
And then Trevor Zegras this year, 81 games played, 65 points and 88 penalty minutes. Brad Marchand, 76 games, 55 points and 87 penalty minutes.
Oh damn! I swear I did not like do this comparison beforehand. I was like,
No, that's what I'm kind of looking at. I'm like,
it.
holy shit.
Would they have been the same age in those years as well? Like this, like that would have been Zegras' 19, 20, 21 age seasons?
I'm not sure about that offhand.
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, the trajectory is kind of similar. We can take a look at Marchand's next season. It doesn't quite work unless we were to adjust the stats, because that was the shortened 2012-2013 season.
Okay.
Where Marchand played in 45 games, picked up 36 points and 27 penalty minutes. So that's a little bit.
So it did drop off quite a bit, right? So
yeah,
like his penalty minutes,
but again, he's playing a lot less games. If we skip ahead though to the next full season, 13-14, Marchand plays in 82 games, picks up 53 points and 64 penalty minutes. So it does reduce, mind you, though, 14-15, 15-16. He's in the 90s for penalty minutes.
Yeah.
But and then it's kind of up and down a little bit throughout his career. So
yeah, no, that's fair. So okay, so Zegras like kind of just turned 22, so we'll call these his 19, 20, and 21-year-old seasons, which I remember being that age, so makes sense that
it wasn't too long ago for us, I guess.
No, really not.
But long enough.
Yeah. So Marchand has a May birthday, so a couple months later than Zegras, but fairly comparable. So born in 88, so he would have been 18 in 2006, and then his first, right? That math checks out. Yes. Okay, and that was also his draft year. Yep. Could have just done that. Good job, Carter. And then his first full season was 09-10. So he would have been older then. Like he would have been 22. No, 20. 21. Is that how that would work? Yeah, 21. Yeah. So a few years later, but still.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer Zegras go the Marchand direction compared to the Corey Perry way.
Is that just like a straight line?
Well, here I'll look at the first 5 seasons of Corey Perry.
Okay.
56 games, 50 penalty minutes.
Okay. And what season was that? Sorry.
2005, 2006.
Okay, so that would have been his drafted 2003. So his 21-year-old. No. 20-year-old season. 20.
Yeah. So, and you also have to remember too that the 2004-2005 season was
a lockout. Yeah.
So then his second year plays in all 82 games, picks up 55 penalty minutes. His third season plays in 70 games, picks up 108 minutes.
Oh.
His fourth season, 78 games, 109 minutes. Fifth season, 82 games, 111 minutes. So I'd be okay a bit more with the Marchand, where we're kind of going in and out a little bit after that kind of 80, and that's kind of your top end kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Perry would go on to have 5 straight seasons of over 100 penalty minutes. The highest being 127, which is also his career high in the 2011-2012 season in 80 games.
Yeah. Same thing though, like as with Marchand, the 12-13 shortened season where he only played 44 games, he still had 72 penalty minutes.
Yeah, he went off that year.
So like you scale that up to an 80 game season, like you're looking at like 130, almost 140 in penalty minutes. So and then it definitely does drop off after that. So
yeah,
he's figured it out. But
and then I guess what else for player stats? I guess we're looking at goalie stats now.
Take a look at our
take a look at our attendees.
Which we had 3 guys play for us, just Gibson, Stellars, and Dostal. I don't think Eric or
Uh,
Ericsson got a couple games.
Ericsson got a game, yeah.
1 game? Okay.
Just trying to. Oh, there. It does only show, I guess, for Stellars, Dostal, and Gibson. So we'll go with that.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yeah. So for goals against average, John Gibson, unfortunately, with the worst goals against average on the team at a 3.99. Followed by Lucas Dostal at 3.78 and Anthony Stellars at 3.73. Dostal and Stellars both playing 19 games apiece for the Anaheim Ducks. Dostal starting 17 of his 19, Stellars starting 12 of his 19. And that was like the start of the season, especially where it's like, okay, we'll throw Gibson in for the first 2 periods and then Stellars can get put in.
Yeah.
And Gibson playing 53 games and starting 52 of those. So if we look at save percentage, John Gibson tied for worst in this case with Anthony Stellars at an 899. Like just the 1 more point to be in the 900.
Yeah.
So close.
We'll round up.
Yeah. And then Lucas Dostal just holding on to the save percentage lead at a 901. So I feel like when you're looking at the save percentage there, especially, right, and how it's like so even across the board and the goals against average, you can tell that it's the team in front of them, right? Because they're all quality goaltenders.
Yeah.
So,
and they're all like in the kind of the same realm as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
or
like
John Gibson. Yeah, John Gibson with the only shutout of the Ducks season, just the one there. And then minutes overall, Stellars played 821 minutes. Dostal finishing with 1,063 under his belt this season.
Oh, wow.
That's good. John Gibson with 3,005 minutes played this season for the Anaheim Ducks. So,
wow. I did pull up Ericsson X numbers as well.
Okay.
He just, as you said, just in the 1 game, 1 start there, which was a overtime loss. And
it was the one against Arizona, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Because I didn't. Yeah, because we didn't do the Sunday episode because of Easter, and that was where we predicted you have Ericsson Ek play him against Arizona, Dostal against Colorado to see what you got there. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Man, we were nailing the projections for back-to-backs, eh?
We were. Yeah, we were doing pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, in that 1 game, an 872 save percentage and a 4.69 nice goals against average in like 64 minutes played there because it went to overtime. So I mean, yeah, 1 game, right? But not great numbers, especially against Arizona. What are you going to do though?
Yeah, exactly. Ericsson Ek as well is an RFA this offseason and is arbitration eligible. So that'll be something to keep an eye on just for the minors. But then just while we're talking about the minors really quickly, Kelly Klang and Gage Alexander both have 2 more years on their deals. So at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the Ducks moved on from Ericsson Ek.
Yeah.
And just ran with those 2 for next year. Man, you look at the goaltending depth that this team has, and if they pan out, you can definitely make some trades for for some other players coming back, kind of thing. But otherwise, Dostal, Klang, and Alexander potentially fighting for spots in a couple of years, like that's good. Not a bad position to be in, honestly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, it's nice to have that, but like you don't want guys that should be playing in the NHL to be playing at the AHL level, really. So like, you could definitely trade one of those guys. I think you definitely hold on to a spare in the AHL that you can call up for to cover like injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's good for the future for sure. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to look at. So
yeah.
All right, and then I guess we can look at compared to the rest of the league, the power play and penalty kill. Let's just say that they're not great. Anaheim's power play was good for 31st in the league. at
Hey, not last.
15.7, beating the Philadelphia Flyers power play by 0.1
Oof.
at 15.6.
Snuck in there. Hey,
And then
God, that really puts into perspective how bad that 8.6 or 8.9 that we had.
yeah.
Was that last year?
Yeah, it was, I think.
Yeah, just puts into perspective how bad that was when
Yeah.
this year a bad power play percentage is 15. Like,
Yeah. And
Man.
then for penalty kill, also sitting 31st at 72.1%, just edging out the Vancouver Canucks at 71.6. So just 0.5% better. So
solid.
So
Again, not last. So
rough season to say the least.
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. Well, just one other thing, I guess, to wrap up the season recap. Back when we were talking about Trevor Zegras, who obviously had a really great season, but I just think it's funny that he had 88 penalty minutes and only 65 points. Like when you're supposed to be the offense of this team, and you have more penalty minutes than you do, and lead the team in penalty minutes, and have more of that than you do points. I mean, he also led the team in points too, right? So like he's leading on both fronts there too. But I can't help but think that he really took the comments from last season against Arizona to heart. When people are saying, oh, he's like skilling it up, and he's like, oh, okay, you want to see a little bit of fight? Like, okay, I'm gonna skill it up, but then I'm also gonna answer the bell and cause some shit, and just like racked up the penalty minutes as well. It just feels like a big slap in the face to those Tortorella, right? Who said, I don't know if he said skilling it up necessarily, but
no. Tortorella was after the dish again.
Oh, right.
Was that
it was the Arizona.
It was the Arizona color commentator, and you know what? He really doesn't even matter that much because I can't fucking remember his name still.
Yeah, I don't know, but either way, you know what Trevor Zegras did. Like, okay, I'm just gonna throw penalty minutes around and points. That's a big energy move.
Damn right.
Good stuff. So, little like you said, a little Corey Perry-esque in there.
Yeah. So. All right. Do we want to actually maybe switch it up a little bit? We want to give the last Gulls update and then do our way too early season predictions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
End it that way. Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
All right. I'll run through the Gulls update here quickly. So,
sure. Wait.
God, that is long. That's what she said. So the last two games for the San Diego Gulls were very similar to the Anaheim Ducks in the sense that they lost them.
and Gulls update.
Both games actually happen to be 3-1 losses to the Colorado Eagles. The San Diego Gulls finish like their Anaheim Ducks counterparts. Actually, I should double check that before I state that for sure. Yes, like their Anaheim Ducks counterparts. 32nd, 32 team league, finishing with a 20-49 2-1 record. So overtime losses, shootout losses. So we're making it like the NHL, 20-49-3 record. Good for 43 points on the season. Your top 5 point producers, at fifth spot, Glenn Godden, 33 points in 57 games. Nicholas Brouillard, 39 points in 72 games. Bo Grew with 39 points in 63 games. Defenseman Michael Del Zotto putting up 41 points in 65 games. 31 of those 41 points coming with San Diego over 40 games. So like just a little shy of a point per game pace for a defenseman. Damn, I like that.
Yeah, right.
And then rounding it out, Dylan Sakura with 44 points in 69 games. Nice. 12 of those points coming in 17 games with the San Diego Gulls after the trade deadline. For goalies, we're going to run through the 4 main guys, I guess we'll call it.
Not the ECHL call-ups that only played a little bit.
You could argue, I guess, Kelly Klang only played 5 games, but it was still notable enough, I would say.
Well, I feel better about putting his numbers out into the universe. I mean, obviously you can just go and look these stats up too, right? But feel a little bit better talking about these. And also it's like more recent too. So
Yeah. So I'm gonna go from actually, okay. I'll go with Dostal because at this point he is the Ducks backup goaltender. So I'll start with him first, and then we'll go from least amount of games to most amount of games.
sure. Yeah.
So Lucas Dostal played 34 games for the San Diego Gulls this year, putting up a 297 goals against average and a 912 save percentage with a 11-21-0 record, which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. Like, I mean, when you put up those kind of numbers, ideally the wins and losses are switched.
Yeah.
Like you should be
But
able
like
to win more games. But I mean, like
earlier though, like that's the sign that that guy should not be in the AHL anymore. Right?
yeah, right.
So,
yeah.
Okay, and then least to greatest amount of games played. Kelly Klang played 5 games for the San Diego Gulls from after being brought over from Europe. Put up a 2.65 goals against average. Holy shit! And a 904 save percentage with a 1-3-0 record.
Decent.
Gage Alexander played 16 games. Quite the jump there. Putting up a 3.59 goals against average. I cannot read apparently today.
Numbers are hard. I get
Yeah,
it.
and a 887 save percentage there with a 5-7-3 record. And then Olle Eriksson Ek finished off the season with 20 games played, a 4.81 goals against, and 852 save percentage. Good for a 2-14-0 record in the AHL this season. So
yeah, not looking good there. Just across the board for Eriksson Ek. Like,
but same thing too, right? Like, not everyone's going to be a Lucas Dostal down there.
Yeah.
So like
keeping your team in games that you have no business being kept in.
The outlier kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure. Yeah.
Numbers are what you would expect for how the Gulls did this year as well. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you put him on an average team, and he probably has average numbers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right then. I guess we can get into our way too early season predictions to finish off the regular season.
Yeah, let's do it. So we kind of came up with like a little scoring system here, just for points, in terms of predicting the playoff teams. So when we say playoff teams, we decided we were just going to go for the guarantees. So like the top 3 in each division. So wild cards don't count and that sort of thing. So because at the start of the season, because you could have 2 teams from one division, take both wild card spots. So every team gets 3 teams in there. So that's what we're going with. Yeah,
so
exactly.
It was a point if you got the team in that top 3, and then another point if their placement in that top 3 was correct. So each division has 6 points available for grabs.
Yeah.
So
and then we will still talk about like the bottom parts of the standings as well, because there's some interesting ones in there. But just in terms of like actually scoring it, it's more about like, okay, who's making the playoffs, who's not? Because that's really kind of the point of this. It's like, okay, let's say who's in it, who's going to be close, who's out of it already, and we haven't even dropped the puck for the first game. So we're kind of scoring the playoffs there.
Yeah. So what we'll do for this, because I do have our graphics from the start of the season as well, we'll go division by division, but we'll go like person by person. So we'll do all of your picks first, and then we'll do all of mine and give like what the final scores were at the end of it.
Sure. Sounds good. Okay.
So
we're starting with me?
We'll start with you, because that's who I got here. So what division do you want to start with? Do you want to start out east? Start with the Atlantic?
Yeah, I think that's how we did it when we like initially talked about it, is we went Atlantic, Metro, Central, Pacific. So yeah, we'll start there.
Well, and we'll start it off hot as well, because I think you have some explaining to do here.
Yeah.
That's the Boston Bruins I see in 7th in the Atlantic.
Yeah, it is. I thought that McAvoy and Marchand were going to be out for a very, very long time. And obviously nobody knew how good Allmark was going to be. And they had just let go of Bruce Cassidy, who had been there for a long time. And then, oh, wow, let's bring back the aging corpse of David Krejci from the from Europe, from Czechia. And apparently he's still got it. And so I just thought with all of those combinations of factors, and with just how good the other teams in the East got, I was like, there's no way that the old, like 40-year-old, like average age 40-year-old Boston Bruins were going to compete against the young, fast teams in the in the Atlantic Division. So that's what I was thinking, and it was totally reasonable to say that like 6 months ago, but it's not reasonable to say that now, and you just look like a moron. So yeah, with the Bruins finishing, first in the division and first in the league at that, I think I owe the Boston Bruins an apology for that one, because not even close. They just went full steam ahead all season long. Didn't even matter that that Marchand and McAvoy were out. Like, they were still winning games when those guys weren't even in the lineup.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Are there
as well, sorry, just to wrap up this part, we do have the third and final BDE of this episode, for it goes to the Boston Bruins, for when not just myself either, but lots of people are saying, oh, the Bruins will miss the playoffs, and then they go on to not only just win the President's Trophy, but set an NHL record for wins. Like,
and points in a season as well, actually.
And points.
Yeah.
Like, come on. That deserves this at minimum. A big energy move.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Just nuts. Just absolutely insane. So
okay, are there any of the other non-playoff teams that you want to talk about quick before we do the top 3 playoffs?
I do actually have to just pull up the actual standings just to see comparison wise, because I only want to talk about the things that I got right. I did have Ottawa in fourth in the division. They finished sixth, and then I had Buffalo. I had Buffalo at sixth, and they finished fifth. So
I
guess those aren't
out in the
unreasonable.
playoffs too with one.
Yeah, exactly, which hurts for them, but
yeah.
No, I did think Ottawa would be better. In fairness, they lost Josh Norris pretty early on. They had goaltending injuries throughout the season. So, they probably would have finished in that, or I wouldn't want to say probably, but they would have been closer to that fourth spot, I think, had those things not happened. So, they did better than people expect. But, yeah. And then Canadians at the bottom, obviously. But other than that,
right?
Yeah.
So the actual standings for the top 3, first to third, Boston, Toronto, and Tampa. You had Tampa, Toronto, Florida. So you got Toronto right.
Yeah, in the right spot. Yeah,
in the right spot as well. And you had Tampa in the top 3 at least. So that gives you 3 points in the Atlantic Division out of 6. So
do I get a bonus point for having Florida in the top 3 and they still made the playoffs even though it was wild card?
Nope, fuck that.
Okay.
I make the rules.
I get I will give myself a gold star afterwards.
There you go. All right, we'll move on to the Metro Division, where you also picked up 3 points out of 6 there.
Nice.
With the actual top 3 being Carolina, New Jersey, and the New York Rangers, where you had Carolina, the New York Rangers, and the Washington Capitals. Ooh, that one stings a little bit. And you also had the Philadelphia Flyers and Columbus Blue Jackets in the bottom 2 spots, which that is where they placed, just flipped from what you were thinking. So What do you got to say for the Metro here?
I will say that even though I had the Devils in the 5th spot, I put a little asterisk beside them to mark. I think this will be a playoff team still. I think the only reason I didn't have them higher was because I couldn't just justify putting them ahead of the Caps and the Penguins, because they've been locks for the playoffs for my entire lifetime. So basically my entire time watching hockey anyways. So
the Penguins missing the playoffs for the first time in 16 years.
Yeah. So I feel like thinking back on this, I think in a very, very early draft of these way too early season predictions, I had the Devils in 3rd, and then I was like, but come on, it's the Capitals and the Penguins. Like, it's Ovechkin, it's Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Kemper, who just won a Stanley Cup, is now in Washington. Like, that's what they need. So, I think the Devils are good enough to make the playoffs, but I just can't put them ahead of these teams. So, So I will say I was on that bandwagon from the start of the season or before the season, but yeah, they definitely surprised a lot of people by getting that second spot. So
Yeah, fair enough. So, okay. Any other teams you want to talk about, or move on to the
no,
Central there?
I can move on. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for the Central Division, this was your best division. Or got 4 out of 6 here, actually. So
Nice.
the actual standings, first to third, Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. And you had Colorado, Nashville, Minnesota. Nashville just missing the playoffs there by a few points as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got Colorado and Minnesota both in the top 3 and in their respectful spots as well. Good for 4 out of 6 points. And you also got the bottom 2 teams correct in Arizona and Chicago in their appropriate places as well.
Yeah.
Any teams that you specifically want to hit on here?
Yeah, I had the Stars in a playoff position as well, in just a wild card spot at number 4 in the division. They obviously exceeded expectations by getting second in the division with 108 points. So, yeah, I forget why exactly I had the Preds so high. I forget what they did in the offseason that made me go like, oh no, these guys are the team to watch. But yeah, obviously that wasn't necessarily the case. So I had the Blues. Oh no, I had the Blues 5th and they finished 6th. So close. I was a lot closer than you, which we'll get to. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Central is kind of the easiest to predict for the most part of like who's going to make the playoffs or at least be in the conversation, who's definitely not. I guess the Jets I was wrong about. I had them at 6th, but you know, they just as easily could have fallen out of the playoffs too. So
they almost did, which
yeah.
is wild aspect to watch. So
yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think I need to toot my horn anymore on this division.
All right, so moving on to the last division for Carter is the Pacific Division. The top 3 were Vegas, Edmonton, and Los Angeles. And Carter had Edmonton, Calgary, and LA. So Carter picking up 3 points there because he did have Edmonton and LA making it, and LA in that 3rd spot. So yeah, looking back on this, we definitely had the Ducks both wrong. I think we both had them in 6th.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we were on the thought process of like same as Pat Verbeek, thinking, not playoffs, but improved. That wasn't the case. So
yeah. I mean, I think yeah, with Calgary, I don't really know, because like I wasn't super high on Calgary like to start the season, like I never am, but then I think I put them higher because I'm like, okay, well I'm probably just biased because I hate Calgary. So like, realistically they probably are up there. Like yes, they lost some big pieces, but they also made some big moves in free agency. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I was thinking there. But a lot more things went wrong than just like, Huberdeau didn't live up to expectations. Like the goaltending wasn't all there either. And I think that was really maybe what cost them more so than Huberdeau. But I'll let you speak to that when your predictions come up in a few minutes here. So, my Oilers bias maybe putting them first. Yeah, I mean the Kings, like they kept the same roster pretty much and then just added a couple extra pieces. So like I don't think it was unreasonable to keep them or to put them 3rd. And I think that's where they were last season as well.
And two completely different goalies from the start of the season as well. Hey,
yeah, that too. So that kind of saved their season in a way.
Yeah,
not in a way. No, it did save their season.
It did. Yeah.
Phoenix Copley, really, and then also Corpusalo eventually too. But yeah, and then Vancouver. I mean, I had them in a playoff spot in 4th, and I think obviously things just didn't go the way they expected them to with Bruce Boudreau there. Like the way they ended last season did not carry over to how they started this season. And then they just like never recovered. So in a way similar to the Ducks that, you expected improvement, but then things just didn't go the way they should have. And so, yeah, I think that was it there. Yeah, really, this division was just so fucking wrong in many ways. Like 3 out of 6 points does not like accurately represent how closely I got on this division. It just is for the playoff teams. Like I had the Kraken at 7th, and they like made the playoffs with in
Yeah.
fourth there with 100 points. Like who the hell saw that coming? Nobody. Sharks was really the only team I was like kind of close for down there. I had them at 8th, and they finished 2 points ahead of Anaheim. So
Yeah.
like just barely squeaked out of last. So and really that's just because of Erik Karlsson, which again nobody saw that coming, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Yeah, nobody saw that coming. So
otherwise they probably would have been lucky to have 30 points on the season. Like it was bad outside of Erik Karlsson. So yeah, no, like I was all over the place, and yeah, I don't want to say too much more because I know you were also kind of all over the place on this one. So we'll have some teams to talk about. Or I'll leave you some teams to talk about when it comes to your predictions for the Pacific Division. So
sounds good. All right, so yeah, I guess we'll move on to myself here.
Mhm.
So starting back again at the Atlantic Division. Just recap for everybody: the top 3: Boston, Toronto, and Tampa. I had Tampa, Toronto, and Ottawa. And I think, Carter, you alluded to it already. You know, Ottawa ran into goaltending issues. They lost Josh Norris early, and there's just a lot of hiccups that I think would have otherwise helped this team.
Yeah. Well, you look at the moves that they did make that worked for them, like Giroux. What's his nuts from Chicago, whose name I'm blanking on?
DeBrincat.
Thank you. Jake Sanderson, you know, as a draft pick, as a rookie coming in, Thomas Chabot continuing to be a good defense. Like all of those moves that we were like, oh man, this team's improved. Like all of those worked out. It was just
and then even at the trade
things.
deadline with Jacob Chikrin.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
so,
we played a grand total of what, 6 games before getting injured
like
again.
That, yeah, and he was looking good for those games. So
yeah,
I too also owe the Boston Bruins an apology. However, I didn't think that they were going to be 7th. I had them in 5th. And I think my idea was like just missing out on the playoffs. Same kind of thing. I thought that, you know, the injuries were going to be they were really going to hurt them at the start of the year. But I figured like kind of once everybody was back and healthy, then that team would start to go, but it would be just too little too late kind of thing for them to make it. So that's why I had Boston in 5th there. But yeah, so I got Montreal and Detroit right in their spots at least,
and Buffalo too.
But,
oh no, sorry. Oh wait, no, close
Buffalo,
to Buffalo.
Close to Buffalo. So, but
and Florida, Florida, you had. Sorry.
Yes, I did get Florida. Actually, you're right. Sweet. But we only care about the top 3 anyway. And I only got Toronto right in terms of their placements. And I miscalculated that actually. So I got Toronto right in terms of their placement and Tampa Bay in there. So I too got 3 points there.
Nice.
Man, I think I might have to recheck all of mine actually.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, the Atlantic Division. The Metro Division. I have Metro Atlantic like as I have it written down here.
Oh yeah.
That's where I was getting messed up. Okay, so Metro. The actual was Carolina, New Jersey, and the Rangers, and I had the Rangers, Carolina, and Pittsburgh. So I think I just got the 2 points there.
Just the 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 teams, but in the wrong spots. Yep.
Yeah. So Carolina actually finishing 1st instead. Rangers kind of had a couple hiccups here and there, but like it wasn't like a massive detriment, I don't think, to them. It was more just that Carolina and New Jersey just went off basically.
Yeah, the Rangers still had 107 points. Like,
yeah, those 2 teams only being like Carolina and New Jersey only being separated by 1 point there, 113 and 112 respectively.
Yeah.
So
which is just dumb.
Yeah, and I kind of learned from before, you know, maybe don't bet against Pittsburgh until they're out. Guess what, everybody? Pittsburgh Penguins 6th next year. Calling that right now.
Yeah,
calling that right now.
I think it's hilarious that for the 3 years we've been podcasting, you've said every year, or like the 3 previous years. So
I still
you said
argue
every
the
year,
one
Pittsburgh's
I got
out,
right.
Pittsburgh's out, Pittsburgh's out.
I still argue that
fuck it.
First year I got that right. I still argue that because the play-in is not the playoffs.
Whatever. I'm not bringing this up again. I'm not.
I still argue I got that one right.
But for the 3 years, you said Pittsburgh is going to fall off, and they throughout the regular season, at least, they didn't. They were in a playoff spot throughout the regular season. Let's say that. And then the 1 year that you're like, okay, whatever. I'm not betting against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm never
They
betting
missed.
against Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and then they miss out. Yeah, it's so funny how they just like give you a big middle finger every year, no matter which way you go.
Yeah, I think it's more disappointing for Pittsburgh this year because Malkin and Crosby both played the entire season, I believe.
Yeah.
So this will be the first time that Malkin misses the playoffs, and only the second time that Crosby does, in the first year being his rookie year that they missed. So
Yeah.
No Pittsburgh and no Washington as well. No Alex Ovechkin in the playoffs. It's gonna feel really weird this year, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So, outside of that,
yeah, you had same thing. Philly, Columbus at the bottom two just swapped.
New Jersey, I felt like did make big steps forward. I just thought that the Islanders, Caps, and Pittsburgh just would have been better. That's the only reason I had them in sixth. So I thought I knew that they were going to be a good team. Just thought the other ones were going to be better, I guess. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So makes sense.
All right, so the Central Division, just recap again. The actual is Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota, where I had Colorado, St. Louis, Minnesota. So I too get 4 points in this part. I think we just need to cover a Central Division team.
Maybe.
Because apparently we know that better for whatever reason. But St. Louis was a team that, looked like they should still be going, but it just did not happen for them this year. So, and I thought Dallas was going to take a lot harder of a fall than they did, but they didn't really. So they
and that was
took
part
that
of the whole
spot. So.
That was part of the whole John Klingberg thing. It's like, okay, John Klingberg's a big loss, and he's going to improve Anaheim.
Yeah, we were so hyped up on John Klingberg at the start of the year, and like a quarter of the way through it, we were just like, "Fuck, can we get rid of this guy already?"
Yeah.
So I also thought Winnipeg was going to take a step back, and mind you, they did just make the playoffs. But
honestly, I think they just kind of overperformed in the first half, and and then just kind of held on. Like that's how it feels to me. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe like I haven't watched a ton of Jets games, but I think maybe Hellebuck just had a phenomenal season and was like, "We are making the playoffs. I've decided I don't care what you fucks do out there. I'm just stopping pucks, winning us games, making us get into the playoffs."
Yeah, Connor Hellebuck putting up a 249 goals against and a 920 save percentage in 64 games this year.
Oh God, he's got to get Vezina votes. Obviously, he's not winning.
He has to,
but he better be second for Vezina voting. Like he's been nuts this year.
Yeah, there was one other team that I wanted to talk about here. I don't remember. Oh, Chicago and Arizona. I got their placements right for the bottom two. Sweet.
Yeah.
Colorado kind of terrified me for a little bit at the start of the season because yes, they were hurt also, but man, they were so far out for a while, and then they did get the guys back. No Gabe Landeskog though for the playoffs, which that's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, but I mean they've been without him all season, so like I think it'll be a hit, but I think they'll be okay.
And you take a look at their last 10, 8-1-1 to finish off the season. So they're riding a pretty good high right now. Too.
Yeah,
so
this is dumb.
And then we go to the Pacific Division, the actual being Vegas, Edmonton, and Los Angeles. And I had a all Canadian Pacific Division, not the fucking case. Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. So I got 2 points for the Pacific Division because I got Edmonton right in their placement and them making the playoffs, which that one felt like a no-brainer for them making the playoffs at least.
Yeah.
It was just the first spot was kind of honestly, I was tied between Calgary and Edmonton. I'm like, it could really go either way. Because I thought that like realistically, like Calgary should have been better. But you talked about the goaltending. Yeah, it wasn't really there. You talk about Jonathan Huberdeau, and the Huberdeau conversation leads me a bit more into a Daryl Sutter conversation, their coaching. And similar to Anaheim, I followed two very similar teams this year. I found in Anaheim and in Calgary in the sense of like, both sides want pretty well want the coach gone and that sort of thing. And guys just, some guys did a lot better and, promising young AHL goaltenders in Dostal and Dustin Wolf, who I did get to see on Wednesday as well. That's why I missed the episode on Wednesday. Was it that last game of Calgary and San Jose? I won tickets, so I wasn't gonna say no to that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, young, promising AHL goalie there. Like I said, coaches like fans wanting the coach gone, kind of thing, and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But yeah, this Calgary team should have been a lot better, I think,
mean-
and it'll be interesting to see what happens coming into next season. So
Yeah. Led the league this year in overtime losses, just one ahead of San Jose, who had 16. So yeah, Calgary with 17. I mean, it seems like kind of 8 or 9 is the kind of sweet spot for team like playoff teams in terms of overtime losses. So, you give the Flames an extra 8 points. They're at 101, up just 1 point ahead of Seattle. But there was also a lot of 1-goal games that they lost in regulation too. So you could easily add more points onto that. So
with overtime and regulation, it was 30 1-goal games that they lost.
yeah, Calgary, the only team to not make the playoffs but have a positive goal differential at +8. So I think that really shows just how close a lot of these games were. Like when they won, they won. But when they lost, it was like this fucking close. It was so close, right? So
yeah. Vancouver, I thought they were just going to ride that Bruce Boudreau high. They evidently did not. And for Vegas in particular, I had them just at 4th because I just wasn't sure about the goaltending going into this season.
Yeah.
With Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill. Aiden Hill, we've seen in the past, is not a starting guy. He's a backup kind of at best. And Logan Thompson was just a new goaltender on the scene, right? We saw that, he was looking really good at the end of last season, but just wasn't sure if he'd be able to kind of sustain that right away, at least as a tandem. At least with Aiden Hill or that kind of thing, or Laurent Brossoit, who was supposed to be that guy initially. But so that's why I had them like just at 4th there. I'm like, they could make the playoffs, but could also not, kind of thing. I thought the Kings were going to take a bit of a step back, and it did look like that at first until the goaltending change, right? Of Copley there, especially.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was your thing. I feel like you're like, like we saw Jonathan Quick kind of drop off already. Like, yes, he returned to form in the playoffs, but like, are we going to get regular season Jonathan Quick again? Probably. So, let's.
Yeah, but Cal Peterson, I expected to be a lot better, and he was the first guy to go and got stuck in the AHL there. So
yeah, that too. So
yeah.
Phoenix Copley, honestly, almost deserves like just a few MVP votes. I feel like because like the Kings would be nowhere without him.
Yeah, exactly. If you had told me at the start of the season that the LA Kings would be running a tandem of Copley and Korpisalo heading into the playoffs, I'd go, you're fucking nuts. And if you also told me that that one of my fantasy teams was going to be running a tandem of Copley and Korpisalo at the end of the season, I'd have gone, what the fuck? Absolutely not. I'm not that stupid.
Yeah. Did I forget to draft a goalie? What happened here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, so that didn't. It was an interesting area, at least for the LA Kings. So, Seattle both slapped us in the face equally as hard, I would say. I had them in 7th and the Sharks in 8th there. So, but so I got 2 there. So, which brings our final scores. I got 11 out of 24 possible points here, and Carter winning our way too early season predictions with 13 out of 24, getting just over 50% there. So, congrats, Carter.
Thank you.
Nice job.
I was going to applaud myself, and I was like, "That seems weird. I'm not going to do that." But to good seasons, this is for you. Yeah.
You know what? You got this win, and I beat you in our fantasy league. And
yes, you did. Yeah.
And just to ease you a little bit about
early
that,
round 1 upset. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to ease you about that, as the 6th seed, making that into a bit of a series and taking you out. Know that your sacrifice was not in vain, as I took the championship.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Pappy's boys with the championship. Let's go.
Good stuff. I beat you out in one of the other fantasy leagues, so we'll call it even for.
Yeah, that's true.
For this year, but yeah.
So, but all right. So I think that's everything.
I think we've covered everything. I think we made it through it all. Yeah. I was like, I was still in the old outline, so I was like, oh wait, we didn't talk about this at all. No. That's from way back when. So
Yeah. Perfect.
yeah, that's all good. So that is the regular season done. I guess by the time you guys are listening to this, playoff hockey starts today. So
Yeah,
that's,
on Monday. Yep.
yeah, and if you're listening to this after Monday, playoff hockey's already started, which is even more exciting. So yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah,
So
we
was
are
gonna say
going to be. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say for Monday in particular, game one, New York, Carolina is that series. Florida, Boston is that other one. Minnesota, Dallas, and LA, Edmonton, a rematch for that first round there. And then Tuesday, you'll have the other half of the game ones, the Rangers and the Devils, Lightning and Maple Leafs, Jets, Golden Knights, and Kraken, Colorado. So this looks to be a really good first round here.
I think so. Yeah, there's some good like rematches from last year in like the Leafs and Lightning and the Oilers and Kings, but then there's also some good like some other good rivalries like Rangers Devils. I think will be a lot of fun. I think Panthers Bruins could be interesting. Not totally sure how that one's going to go, but I think it could turn into a good series. I think the Panthers will, like, I don't think that's going to be a sweep, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's Boston's to lose.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think.
Yeah, and then Wild Stars. I don't think that's been a matchup recently, but it's a good like interdivisional rival.
It's the battle of the original Minnesota
That's
against
true.
the current Minnesota team.
That's true. Yeah. The Hockey Podcast Network is going to be ramping up watch-alongs for the playoffs. Currently scheduled is on Monday. Dylan will be doing the Panthers and Bruins, which is a 7:30 Eastern time start, 4:30 Pacific. And then the next day, Rangers and Devils which is a 7 p.m. Eastern start, 4 Pacific. That game will be covered by Neil Villapiano, who I'm sure everybody knows if you've tuned into a watch along with Devil's State of Mind there, and Kyle Manifold as well will be hopping on that one. So, and then there will be more signups coming, but those are the two that are in there right now that we can totally confirm. But obviously check at HockeyPodNet on Twitter probably, but also all the socials, or just give us a subscribe at THPN on YouTube, and you'll get notified of when people will be going lives and be able to see by the afternoon. Okay, this one's scheduled. Like I can hop on and watch that. So
yeah, and if we together or individually do any other games as well, I'm sure Carter will try to do a couple Edmonton ones. We'll be sure to post it as well on our socials. As well at Quack Report Pod. So
for sure, I do actually just want to revisit our throughout the season game.
Oh yes, we have to wrap that up quick.
Yeah, so we missed doing the Vancouver one just because we took the break for Easter and then didn't account for it. So we almost made it through all 82, and then we dropped the ball right at the end. So we missed that one, but we got 81 of the 82 games predicted. You obviously missed the LA one because you were gone, and I missed a Chicago one a ways back. So we did both predict 80 games in total for the Anaheim Ducks. And I got the last one against LA. I swear the episode is out. You can go look. I trust it. That's what I said. So it's, not that it really mattered anyways, but up here, we'll make this a little bigger. At the top, 81 games total here. For getting both the score and the team right. I got 4 of them as opposed to your 1.
Yeah.
Which we can see in green. So I got 1 extra at 5-3 LA. I got a 3-2 Anaheim against Chicago, 5-4 Anaheim against San Jose, and then just a couple games before that, a 4-1 loss to Philly, although this is row 41 on the spreadsheet. So about halfway through the season. It took a while to get those 4. And then you had one earlier. Yes, 5-2 loss to the Jets. So in the first half of the season somewhere. So that was your 1. But if we break it out into just score and just team, we both got the score right. Just the score, not the team, 4 times. So I guess for me, if I got the score right, I also got the team. And then for you got the score right 3 other times, but just the team wrong. Does that make sense? So for a total of 4 times each. And then in terms of predicting the team, you got 50. So out of 80 games, 50 of the times you predicted whether it would be a win or a loss correctly, which I think is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of points percentage, 50 out of 80, 0.625,
Sweet.
which
So you're telling me I should put some money down at DraftKings Sportsbook?
you should.
THPN.
Yeah, just on winner and loser. That's
I actually like just on the money line kind of thing. I actually have
Yeah.
been doing pretty well. I
Yeah,
was talking to you about this like for over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I was putting down a couple bets again, and
Mhm.
I've made some money. We'll put it that way. So
nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 50 out of 80 is 0.625, which would be good for 12th in the league. Say just ahead of Seattle, but just behind Minnesota. But obviously, that doesn't account for like points from overtime losses because we can't have like, ties and this kind of thing. So, and then, I got the team right 47 times out of 80. So a little bit less accurately than you, but that's where we sit. So I don't know who wins and loses this. I don't know. It was just kind of fun to do. So
I win the money line bet, but you win the what's it called for like if you're like the score prediction,
the spread.
Yeah, the spread. Yeah.
Yeah.
You win the spread, but I win the money lines.
Yeah, perfect. So
sweet.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I almost forgot that we had done that and that we should do a full recap of that. But yeah, okay. Anything else that I'm forgetting?
I think that's everything.
I think so too. Yeah.
Do we want to tempt fate? Do we want to run the draft simulator? One.
Let's see. Give it to me.
And
give me
what we get.
Give me the lottery balls. Let's throw it up here.
All right. Let's pull it up here. All right. So this is from our good friends over at Tankathon there. As you can see, well, I guess we're recording this on Sunday, so we got 21 days away from the NHL draft lottery. So we are going to sim the lottery and cross your fingers that Anaheim would be the one to get it. Carter, can we get a drum roll, please?
Yes, we can.
Fuck. The Anaheim Ducks dropped to third spot.
It's okay. We'll cut this part out. No one needs to see this.
Exactly.
No.
But you know what, though? Because it happened on this show, it just means that we're actually going to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
On May 8th.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. We got all the bad juju out of the way. Now we just get the good juju.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're not happy with those results, just head over to Tankathon, hit sim lottery until you get the ones you want. That's all you got to do.
I think before this show, I did 5 sims and I got the Ducks twice.
Okay. 2 out of 5. It's not bad.
So it just
that's 40%. That's better than the 25%.
My browser just might not like me today. So
that could be it. Yeah. You never know. All right. Well, yeah, that is the episode, our season recap episode. Moving forward, we are going to be taking a break for the playoffs since the Ducks did not make it. So like a long break, extended break. So we're planning our next episode for July 5th, so about 2.5 months from now, where that we'll kind of have like a big sort of mega bonus episode where the playoffs will obviously be done by that point. So we'll wrap up the playoffs with whoever comes out on top. Then the draft will happen on the 28th and 29th of June, the first round being the 28th, and then free agency opens on the 1st. So July 5th gives us a bit of time for free agency to kind of kick off, see what happens the first few days, and then we'll just have a big chunk of news to talk about. Probably a new coach, hopefully a new coach
by that point. Yeah.
So we'll have a big episode to talk about there. So we'll be pretty silent for about 2.5 months. Maybe the odd episode comes out, just one of us hops on for 15 minutes. We'll, like Nate said, we'll still be doing a few watch alongs here and there. Undecided yet.
Yeah.
Which ones we'll do, but
if the Ducks get the first overall pick, you bet your ass there's going to be a 15-minute episode of us just screaming in the best way possible.
Just screaming,
and popping champagne. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll be radio silent on at least on the podcasting front for a couple months. But give us a follow at Quack Report Pod on Twitter. Probably is the best place for that, but on any of the other places as well. Eventually, you'll get notified. Say, Instagram. They posted a new episode. YouTube says they're going live now. Cool. Facebook as well at Quack Report Pod. Just to see what we're up to and when before.
Yeah.
Between now and July 5th, I suppose. So, yeah. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Cool. Nate, if people want to, I don't know, celebrate the ultimate tank and the firing of Coach Eakins, where can they do that at with you?
You can do that with me on Twitter at Tatenomos, TATENHOMAS.
Yeah, and I will be on Twitter at Carter_Potts, POTTS_97. I will obviously be watching the Oilers and Kings series, and I'm sure that there will be lots of you saying fuck the Kings and fuck the Oilers, but unfortunately both of those things can't happen, so you got to pick one of the sides. I mean, you could just say let's go Avs too.
I don't even know who I would take for that one.
No,
if I had gun to the earth, we're
gun
all
to
dying.
the earth.
Gun to the earth.
Oh,
we're
to
all,
the earth. Yeah.
We're all dying. Sorry, I can't pick.
Great. Yeah. But yeah, that's where you can follow me on Twitter if you want to discuss that series or any other things that might be on your mind, hockey or otherwise. Yeah. At Quack Report Pod, at HockeyPodNet, or at THPN on YouTube. Thank you guys very, very much for tuning in to another great episode and season of the Quack Report. We will see you guys another time, and go Ducks, go for next season.
Sure, next season.